This video is the second part of our tutorial about editing sound cues in ADX2 and focuses on the different cue types. First, let's go back to the timeline. We are going to add another track to our sound cue. Drag an audio file from the materials and drop it on the timeline. We now have a multi-track sound cue. Like in a DAW, each track has its own volume fader. For example, let's reduce the volume of this track. Each track can also be muted. For instance, this track is now muted. This is why we don't hear it anymore. In ADX2, it is possible to merge cues together. Let's first delete this track and merge these cues instead. Now press Ctrl on your keyboard and select them. Right-click and select Merge Cues in the menu. They are now merged into a single cue. We are now ready to learn about the cue types we have seen earlier. This combo box lets you specify the type of the cue, which determines the way the tracks will be played. 7 types of cues are available. Let's try the first one, Polyphonic, which is also the default type when you create a cue. We've just heard the 3 tracks playing at the same time. This is because when a cue is polyphonic, all the tracks are played simultaneously. This is particularly useful to create ambiances or any sound effect composed of several parts or layers. The next type of cue is sequential. If we choose this, at the first play request, the topmost track is played. Then for each subsequent request, the next track is played back. When the last track has been played, the first track will play again, and so on. A cue of type shuffle also plays a different track each time it is triggered. However, in that case, the track is selected randomly. ADX2 will make sure that all tracks have been played once before playing them again. The random and random no repeat cue types are very similar. They both pick up the next track to play randomly. However, random no repeat will make sure the same sound is not repeated twice in a row, which may sound awkward, for example, if your character's footsteps make the exact same sound several times in a row. To spice things up, each track can be assigned a random weight. These weights can be entered directly or adjusted graphically, like this. Let's hear the difference. The first sound is now played more often. The switch cue type allows ADX2 to select the track to play based on a game variable. This is great for interactive sound. For footsteps, for example, it means that you could play a different track based on the type of material the player is walking on. We will come back to this later in the tutorial about selectors. Finally, the Combo Sequential Cue type adds some options to the sequential type. It will play the next track only if the cue has been re-triggered within a given period of time, or it will return to the first track if it was not the case. Aptly named, it simulates the behavior of a combo and can be used, for example, in a fighting game. As you can see, having various cue types allow for the creation of complex sonic behaviors in a very intuitive way. To go even further, you can also trigger a cue from within a cue. This is really easy to do. Simply drag a cue on the timeline of another cue, and voila! To conclude, cue types and cue nesting open the door to the creation of advanced sound logic within ADX2 without requiring the involvement of an audio programmer. See you in the next tutorial.